let's get acquainted with the Japanese ABCs, or the Hiragana writing system. This chart displays the basic 46 characters used in the Hiragana syllabary. It's written in Japanese style, traditional Japanese style, which is from top to bottom and from right to left. So we're going to start over here. Notice along the right-hand side here we have the vowels. In Japanese there are 5 vowel sounds. I've included a little mnemonic phrase here below each one so that you can remember how they're pronounced. Let's take a look. Here we have a, I, U, E, O. The mnemonic phrase included here, we soon get old. So we have here I, U, E, and O. Now, every other syllable on this chart is kind of a marriage, I guess you could say, between a consonant, K, S, T, N, H, M, Y, R, and W, and the vowel that is also in the column there. So for example, here we have K and A. This gives us ka. K and I, which gives us ki. So you can sort of use this and look up any syllable on the chart and figure out how it's pronounced. Let's take a look at this one in the center here, this funky looking character. This is the M consonant line, and it's in the U vowel line, which is pronounced oo, like in soon. So we can go m, oo, moo. This is pronounced moo. The consonants in Japanese, K, S, T, N, H, M, Y, and W, at least these, are pronounced pretty much identically to the way they're pronounced in English. So there's really no trick to making these sounds like a Japanese native speaker. R, however, is kind of a unique thing. There's a particular way to pronounce Japanese R sounds, and I'll of course give you some hints there to pronounce them like a pro when we get to that line. For now, though, we're going to turn our attention to the vowel line and the K line. I'll show you how to write and pronounce those two and how to spell them in English. So let's take a look here, starting with the first letter in the Japanese syllabary, in the Hiragana syllabary. That is the character for A. All right, before we begin, let's take a quick look at the format here. On the left-hand side here, you'll see we have 2 versions of the character. These are different typefaces, and they're to give you an idea what to expect. Sometimes the handwritten version, which is the one you'll see on the upper left here, is different from the printed version. There's a bit of variation there, and so I want to show you both examples there so you know what to look for. You'll notice also that they're presented in a square with quadrants. This is basically the way Japanese kids learn how to write hiragana. It's much like, if you'll think back to when you were in kindergarten and learning the ABCs, the lined paper you used there was 2 solid lines and a dashed line down the middle so you could get the difference between upper and lowercase characters. This is what Japanese kids use. And they'll do this in a quadrant style like this so that you can proportionalize the strokes as you write these. Now, when I say the strokes, again, there is a specific stroke order to writing the characters. My advice here to you is to follow the established stroke order. A couple of reasons why you want to do this. First and foremost is because by following the correct stroke order, the established stroke order, your character is going to end up looking much more properly structured. If you go at it from the last stroke and write it backwards, or start from a place that is not sort of recommended to write it, it's going to end up looking rather different. Native speakers and advanced students can pretty easily tell at a glance whether you're writing it properly. No one's going to call you out on it. No one's going to get angry and say, you know, you shouldn't be writing it this way. But it will help you to write them more neatly and more accurately if you follow the established stroke order. So let's take a look here at the stroke order and how to write these. Okay, so this first one here, you may recall, is the very first hiragana for us. It is romanized, that is written in English as A, the letter A. However, it's pronounced A in Japanese. A. When you write this one, you want to start here, like so, in the upper left quadrant. You'll also start just a little to the left there, come down, a little bit of a curve, and then your final stroke here will start just above here, loops around, like so. That is A. As you write this and as you practice these over and over, it's a good idea to say them to yourself, repeat to yourself, A, ah, ah, as you practice these so that you anchor the sound in your brain along with the shape of the character as you're writing it. Our second hiragana is this one here. This is romanized as the letter I in English. This one is pronounced I, I in Japanese. How to write this one? We've got the first stroke here. Starts in the upper left-hand quadrant, comes down a little bit of a loop, and then a little hook on the bottom is considered good form. The second stroke starts in the upper right quadrant, comes down, kind of a curve to it there, and looks something like that. So this one is pronounced E. E. All right, our third syllable here is pronounced U. U is romanized with a letter U in English. When you write this one, notice that there's a bit of variation here between the handwritten form and the printed form. The handwritten form here is made to look as though it were written with a calligraphy brush, so there are some flourishes on here, I guess some shapes that you want to emulate as you write this. So this one, the first stroke comes down, starting in the upper left-hand quadrant, fairly close to that center line, comes down, and a little hook on the end is considered good form. And then you'll start just above that center line, again in the upper left-hand quadrant, a little bit of a curve there, and then like so. So this is U. U. The fourth syllable in the vowel line here is pronounced E. We'll romanize that with the English letter E. And when you write this one, you'll start in the upper left-hand quadrant again. Comes like this. A little hook on the end is okay there if you'd like to write it that way. And then the lower part looks something like a Z is actually a single stroke. So you'll start in the upper left-hand quadrant again, come across, down fairly straight there, and then like so. Okay, this is the syllable E. E. And our final syllable in the vowel line is the syllable O. This is romanized with a letter O in English. We'll write this one by starting again in the upper left-hand quadrant, coming across like so, and ending just on the other side of that line there. Second stroke is a single stroke, and so there's a change of direction here as well. We start on the just to the left of that center line, come down to about here, loop it around like so, and then our final stroke is this mark in the upper right-hand corner. So please be careful with this one. This bears a close resemblance to the first syllable we looked at, ah. What's the difference between those two? Let's take a look real quick. The syllable for ah, recall, is a stroke going across, a stroke down, and then this loopy bit here, right? So there's 3 strokes for the syllable for ah. That's ah. The strokes for the shape for the one we just looked at, oh here, recall, is also 3 strokes, but again, a very different way to write it. First stroke is pretty similar, yeah? Second stroke comes down and is a single stroke, and then the last stroke there. So again, this is the syllable for O. So that's the difference between ah and O. So be cautious with these two so you don't confuse them. Okay, you ready to try spelling something? Get a scrap piece of paper and something to write with. I'm going to pronounce a Japanese word for you 3 times. It's using the vowel sounds we just took a look at. There aren't a whole lot of words you can spell with only vowels in Japanese, but I'll give you a few here. Listen carefully and see if you can write down what you hear. Here's the word. A, O, I. A, O, I. A, O, I. If I pronounce it more quickly, the word is aoi, aoi. All right, here's the answer. How'd you do? First syllable, a, o, I. Aoi, a, o, I. This is the word for blue in Japanese. Let's try another. E, 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 E. Again, spoken at a more natural pace, it's pronounced ie, ie, ie. So how'd you do? The word I just gave you then was e, 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 ie, ie. If we write that out in English, of course, that's I and E. Yeah, yeah. Now, before we move on to the next spelling exercise here, want to take a moment and look at something that you won't find in too many other languages, and that's a long vowel sound. What does that look like? Well, let's take a look. All right, so long sounds in Japanese. What do these look like? What do these sound like? Let's take a look. Recall from our earlier look at Hiragana that it's a syllabary. That is, each character is a single syllable. The word up on top here, ie, two syllables, 1 and 2, e, e. On the bottom, we have, well, it's spelled the same essentially, but with an extra e out front. And we've got 3 syllables here. E, e, 3 syllables. So when it comes to pronouncing these, we have the first 2 syllables, e, e, ie, ie. On the bottom, e, 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 ie, 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 ie. Can you hear the difference? Ie, ie. You may find it helps as you pronounce these to tap out the rhythm according to the number of syllables. So the first one, ie. Second one, ie. Ie, ie. Got that extra syllable in the middle there, and that makes all the difference. All right, let's try a brief listening exercise. If you're accessing this tutorial through the EduCanon website, there will be some multiple choice options that pop up after I say the word. The idea here is to listen carefully to the words I speak and choose the correct one from among the list. So, here we go. The word is u, e, u, e, ue, ue. All right, one more listening exercise for you. Here's our next word. This is 3 syllables long. Listen carefully. Oi, oi, oi. All right, let's take a look at the K line. This is the line that was color-coded pink on the chart I showed you a little while ago. This first syllable here is ka, ka, so we'll romanize this as K-A in English. How do we write it in Japanese? Starting on the upper left-hand quadrant again here, bit of a loop coming down, and on the bottom there, the hook is considered good form. Second stroke starts on the left-hand side of the line there and comes down at an angle, and then the third stroke will be this one here on the upper right-hand side. So that is ka, ka. All right, our next syllable is the marriage of the K consonant and the I vowel sound. This gives us in English Ki, Ki. And before I show you how to write it, I want to point out that there is a difference here between the handwritten version and the printed version. Notice that this stroke is interrupted, or this bit is missing here, whereas on the lower one, the printed one, this stroke comes down and curves around. Don't write it this way. Again, that is how you'll see it in print, but it is a rare Japanese person that connects that stroke. The vast majority of Japanese write it like this. Okay, so that is ki. How do we write it? So we'll start here with these 2 lines. That's the first stroke. Second stroke, a little bit below it. Third stroke comes down, and again in handwriting we're going to lift up here. And the last stroke then comes down like so. So again, when you write that, 1, 2, 3, lift your pencil up, and then complete the curve on the bottom there. That is ki. Ki. The third syllable in the K line might be the easiest one to write, I think. This is romanized as K. U is pronounced ku. Ku, and is only a single stroke. Starts here and comes down. That is ku. Ku. The fourth syllable in the K line is romanized as K. E and is pronounced ke. Ke. How do we write this one? Well, we'll start in the upper left-hand quadrant, as always, coming down. A little bit of a hook on the bottom is considered good form. Second stroke begins here just outside the upper right quadrant, comes across like so, and then the third stroke comes down and sort of curves back around to the left. So this is ke. Ke. All right, our final syllable in the K line is the combination of the K consonant and the O vowel. Gives us the sound ko. Ko. When you write it, it looks a bit different from either the handwritten version presented here or the printed version here. When you write it, you should make a slightly curving line up on top. The second stroke should be a bit more curved on the bottom, but that is the way I think most Japanese native speakers write the syllable ko. All right, that's the K line. Now, let's try some spelling practice again. I'll say a Japanese word 3 times slowly. Please write down on a separate sheet of paper what you hear me say. Here goes. Ka. O. Ka. O. Ka. O. Kao. Kao. How'd you do? All right, our word was ka. O. Kao. So that's K-A and O. Kao in Japanese is the word for face. All right, let's try one more. Okay, our next word is 4 syllables long. Here it is. Write down what you hear. O, o, ki, i. O, o, ki, i. Pronounced more quickly is oki. Oki. Okay, here's the word I just had you write. 4 syllables. O, ki, i. If we romanize this, you'll see it is o, ki, i. So we've actually got a double sort of long vowel sound going on here. 2 O's and 2 I's technically. So o, ki, o, ki, o, ki. Notice that if we were just to pronounce these 2 characters in the center, remember each one is a syllable, so it would just be oki, oki, oki. But we pad it out on either side with these extra vowels, and it ends up being oki. If you want to make sure you're pronouncing it or holding it for the right number of beats, you can also just sort of tap it out or clap it out as you say it. So, oki, oki. 4 beats that word has to be held for. All right, ready for a little listening practice again? I'll say a word 3 times in Japanese and then select it from the list of multiple choices that pops up. Here we go. The word is 2 syllables and is pronounced I, ka. I, ka. I, ka. Ika. Ika. Next, I have a 3-syllable word for you. A, ka, I. A, ka, い、あ、か、い、赤い、赤い. All right, before we wrap things up, I have one last thing to show you, and that is how to coax another 5 sounds out of the K consonant line there. This involves the use of voiced consonants. Now, what is a voiced consonant? An unvoiced consonant is a consonant that doesn't make use of your vocal cords. You can experience this for yourself by taking your 2 fingers here, putting them on your vocal cords, and then pronouncing something. For example, K is an unvoiced consonant, so say the sound K. K, k, k. You'll notice that your vocal cords don't vibrate at all when you do that. Sounds like M, for example. Make your vocal cords vibrate, and that's a voiced consonant. Now, what happens when we add voice to an unvoiced consonant? Again, put your fingers back there. Say the K sound. K, k, k. Now, what happens if you add voice to that? What happens is you get a G sound. So we go from k, k, k to g, g, g. So how do we indicate this? How do we notate this on our hiragana? Well, we add these little marks called 10, 10. Once again, that's 10, 10 to the upper right-hand side of the character. It looks a bit like English quote marks. We'll put them up here, and that will modify the sound, turning K sound into a G sound. Okay, so we'll add those to each one of these, and the pronunciation correspondingly changes from a K sound to a G sound. So the vowel sounds stay the same. It's the consonant that makes the switch. So ka becomes ga, ki becomes gi, ku becomes gu, ke becomes ge, and ko becomes go. All right, let's try a short dictation exercise. Using the 5 new syllables I just gave you, that's the G line, ga, gi, gu, ge, go. I'll say the word slowly a couple times. Write down what you hear me say. Here's the word, 2 syllables. It's pronounced a, go, a, go, a, go, ago, ago. Here's the answer. How'd you do? So 2 syllables, a, go, ago, ago. If we romanize those again, we have a and a go, right? The 10-10 there, again, turns the K sound, the ko, into a G sound, go. So we end up with ago, ago. Let's try another. This is 3 syllables, and it's pronounced e, I, ga. E, I, ga. Eiga, eiga. And here's the answer. 3 syllables again. E, I, ga. Eiga. And if we romanize that, we end up with e, I, ga. Again, the 10-10 there turns the K sound into a G sound, so we end up with eiga, eiga. All right, let's finish with a quick listening exercise. Once again, I'll say a Japanese word for you, and you'll select it from the choices that pop up on the left-hand side. Here we go. The word is 2 syllables and is pronounced ka, gi, ka, gi, kagi, kagi. Our final word is 3 syllables and is pronounced u, go, ku, u, go, ku, ugoku, ugoku.